Hey everyone, it's been over 2 minutes and I haven't been raped yet. But I do want to report a sexual assault against a young man in Red Deer, Alberta. Hi, I'm Diana Davison. Now, a lot of people think that I'm a lawyer, and I'm not. Apparently the RCMP in Alberta thought that I was a police officer, not because I was impersonating one, but because when I went in with a young man to report a crime, they told me that we should do our own investigation. Now, I've done a video about this case in the past, and you can go watch that video for a bit more detail. But I've got more to report. Now, because I'm not a police officer, I actually sought and received the help of a police officer from another district who was willing to help us. And we managed to put together a case file, which is what the police should have been doing. And we put it together in a way that they would recognize, because it's very similar in appearance to an actual police file. And then we handed that to this young man to go in, because I'm not in Alberta anymore, I'm in Vancouver. We gave it to him to go into the station and follow up, as we were told to do, once we put our evidence together. The charges being sought are criminal harassment in the form of stalking, public mischief in the form of filing false reports, and sexual assault. And there is evidence to support that charge. So he walks into the station, and I'm not just going to tell you that he was dismissed in the same way we were earlier on. He didn't even get to talk to an officer. The intake officer, who stated that he was a former police officer, decided that he was going to try and handle this case himself, even though he's not an officer and he wasn't prepared to read the case file that was brought to him. So, being faced with this dilemma, the young man says, "Well, I've been here before. Can I speak with the officer I spoke to before? Can you look that up?" As it turns out, and this is a part I find fascinating, a 45-minute visit where we spoke with an officer, I was there, 45 minutes, there was not a single log of this visit on the computers. And here's where it gets even better. What we did find out is that the individual we're complaining about had returned and made yet another false allegation 2 days after acquittal. She was back in there trying to get him arrested again. We don't have confirmation that it was her, and if it wasn't her, it was one of her agents. This is part of our complaint. But our visit, 45 minutes, you would think that there would be some record of that. Nada. I have a record of it, and I know the officer wrote down our names, and the Lighthouse Foundation, which I work for, it's a non-profit where we help the falsely accused. Our names were written down in his notebook, so it can be proved that we were there. But the problem is, he is being actively criminally harassed by this person, and any officer taking another complaint will only see a record of her complaints. They will not see any evidence that he has on multiple occasions tried to lodge a complaint against her. As far as I know, this is actually a violation of the Police Act. So the day after our visit, because I was a little concerned, I sent an email to the officer. I'm not going to show you his email address because I know what'll happen on the internet. But this information may soon become available. I sent an email summarizing our visit so that there would be some documentation. Now, the reason I was concerned and did that was because I was continuously asked, well, what do you want us to do? Well, aside from your job, what I wanted, and I made this very clear, was, at the very least, can you create a case file so that when we come back, as he told us we should do, we had too much evidence, so we were going to make it smaller and give him something that was readable, and they wouldn't have to wait for us to search for it. When we come back, I would like to have a case file number that can be referenced to simplify the next step in this process. You have to excuse, I know some people think that I'm sick right now, but we just have really, really bad air quality in Vancouver because there's like wildfires and all the smoke. So anyways, he refused to open a case file, and I know this takes a second because I have unfortunately had to make a complaint before because of some activity that happened in the workplace. And the file number was created like on the spot. So this is a really simple thing to do. It would have taken zero effort. Now, I haven't calculated how much public expense I've saved for the RCMP by doing the job for them. But if I have to go buy a police hat, I might bill them for it. That is not my job. But as it turns out, there is a way to compel the police to do their job. I've mentioned private prosecutions in the past, but in this case, we don't have time for that, and we also don't have time to lodge a complaint about the RCMP and the individual officers involved, because this person I'm trying to help is actively under threat from what I believe to be a stalker with a mental disorder, and he is in danger. We don't have time. So what I am going to ask for is donations to the Lighthouse Project PayPal, and that link is below. I'll put it on the screen here as well. For the next week, all donations we get are going to go into a legal fund, and we are going to make applications. We need a lawyer because we don't have time to waste. They have to be done properly. So we're going to start a legal fund for this individual. Every donation for the next week will go towards his fund. Additionally, if you are, or you know, a civil lawyer who's not afraid to sue a police force, who can practice in Red Deer, Alberta, and doesn't mind, or you live there or you can travel there, we're also looking for that, and you can contact me at this email. Now, I'm going to make a comment and pin it to the top that announces how much money we've raised so people who are contributing can see what our total is so far. And I'm also going to put a little note in that updated thing. I'll update it every hour while I'm awake, and then in the morning when I get up. I'm also going to put an update as to whether or not a member of the RCMP has contacted me. Because if a member of the RCMP watches this and would like to actually help a citizen in Red Deer, Alberta, and is in a position to do so, also please contact me. We don't want to sue the police. We don't want to have to go to court to compel the police to do their job. What we want the police to do is their job, plain and simple. I want to report a crime, and it's a serious crime. It includes sexual assault. And also, just to finish off, a quick note for people in the comments. Keep in mind, if you're going to comment about the police, keep in mind that the reason we have a case file pretty much all put together, ready to go for them, is because a police officer and his lovely wife helped us to accomplish that. So keep in mind there are some good cops, and I'm hoping one of them contacts me and helps this young man get justice.